forget about being more physical. Forget about making a move or waiting for the perfect moment to escalate touch. Here's what most guys don't get. The assumption is that attraction builds through physical contact, holding her hand, touching her arm, getting closer. And that's exactly why they miss what's actually happening beneath the surface. Because the truth? She's already decided if she's turned on long before your hand ever grazes hers. It's happening in the silence between your words, in the way you move through a room, in things you didn't even know you were broadcasting. The game isn't about touch, it's about tension, and tension lives in everything but the obvious. Keisha here. Welcome to the channel, guys. Today, we're going below the surface, past the cliches, past the be confident bro advice, and into the psychological, behavioral, and yes, slightly manipulative world of how attraction actually gets built when no one's even holding hands yet. These aren't tricks, they're signals, unconscious, hardwired responses that most people completely overlook because they're too focused on what they think they're supposed to do. So let's talk about how you turn her on without ever laying a finger on her. Pointer 1. Master the art of implication. Here's the thing about desire. It doesn't live in certainty. It lives in the gap. When you say exactly what you mean, when you're direct and clear and spelled out, you eliminate mystery. And mystery is where her imagination does all the heavy lifting for you. Let me give you an example. You're texting. Most guys will say, "Hey, I had a great time tonight. We should do it again soon." Fine. Harmless. Forgettable. Now compare that to, "I wasn't expecting you to be that funny." Dangerous. See what just happened? You didn't compliment her directly. You didn't ask for anything. You created a little pocket of ambiguity. Dangerous how? Why is being funny dangerous? What does that mean? She's going to sit with that, turn it over, fill in the blanks herself, and whatever she imagines will be 10 times more interesting than anything you could have said outright. This is implication. You're not spelling it out. You're sketching the outline and letting her color it in. That's where tension lives. It works in person too. You don't say, "You look amazing tonight." You say, "That's a bold choice," with a slight smile, and let her wonder what you mean. The point is this. Her brain is wired to solve puzzles, so give her one. Don't hand her the answer. Let her chase the meaning. That chase, that's what turns her on. Pointer 2. Control your attention like currency. You know what most guys do wrong? They give their attention away for free, constantly, immediately, predictably. She texts, you respond in 30 seconds. She talks, you stop everything. She enters the room, your head snaps toward her like a motion sensor light. And here's the problem. Attention is one of the most powerful tools you have, but if you're handing it out like flyers on a street corner, it loses all its value. Women are incredibly socially calibrated. They notice where your focus goes, and more importantly, they notice when it doesn't go to them. I'm not saying ignore her. I'm saying be selective, intentional. If she's talking and you're half listening while scrolling your phone, that's disrespectful and low value. But if you're genuinely engaged in something, a conversation with someone else, a task, your own thought, and then you turn toward her with your full presence, that shift registers. She feels it. It's the difference between a floodlight and a spotlight. The floodlight is always on, lighting up everything equally. The spotlight moves, and when it lands on you, you feel special. Try this. Next time you're in a group and she says something, don't immediately react. Let there be a beat, then turn toward her, make eye contact, and respond with intention. That micropause communicates that your attention isn't automatic, it's earned, and that makes it valuable. Same thing with texting. You don't have to play games, but you also don't have to drop everything the second her name pops up. Let her wonder, just a little, what you're doing. Let her notice that you have a life that doesn't revolve around your phone. When you finally do respond, be present, be sharp, be worth the wait. This isn't about being aloof or playing hard to get. It's about understanding that attention is a gift, and gifts given thoughtlessly lose their meaning. Pointer 3. Use your voice like a weapon. Let me tell you something most guys don't realize. Women are deeply affected by vocal tone, not just what you say, how you say it. There's actual science behind this. Lower-pitched male voices are associated with higher testosterone levels, which subconsciously signals genetic fitness. But beyond biology, there's something psychological happening too. A calm, controlled voice signals confidence. It says, "I'm not rattled. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm simply here." Now, I'm not telling you to fake a Batman voice. That's weird.
But I am telling you to slow down. Most guys talk too fast when they're nervous. They fill silence with words. They rush through sentences because they're afraid of losing her attention. And that energy, that franticness, is the opposite of attractive. Contrast that with a guy who pauses, who lets a sentence breathe, who drops his voice just slightly when he's saying something important, so she has to lean in to hear him. That lean in, that's physical engagement you didn't even ask for. Try this next time you're talking to her. Lower your voice just a touch, not to a whisper, but enough that she has to tune in. Slow your cadence. Let there be space between your words. Don't rush to fill the silence. Silence, by the way, is one of the most underrated tools you have. Most people are terrified of it, but if you can sit in it comfortably, it does something to the other person. It makes them self-conscious. It makes them want to fill it. It shifts the power dynamic without you saying a word. And here's a bonus. If you're close enough, speak near her ear. Not into it like some kind of ASMR nightmare, but just near. Proximity plus low voice equals instant tension. It's subtle. It's invasive in a way that doesn't require touch, and it works. Pointer 4. Wear scent like an invisible signature. This one's simple, but it's shockingly underused. Smell is directly linked to memory and emotion in a way that the other senses aren't. It bypasses logic and goes straight to the limbic system, the part of the brain that handles emotion, memory, and arousal. That means when you smell good, you're not just pleasant to be around, you're creating an anchor. Every time she smells that scent again, even faintly, it's going to pull her back to you, to the moment, to the feeling she had when you were near. So invest in a good cologne, not something everyone else is wearing, something distinct, something that becomes yours. And here's the key, don't bathe in it. A lot of guys overdo it, and then they just smell like a cloud of department store. You want it to be subtle. You want her to notice it only when she's close. That creates an incentive to get closer. One spray on the neck, one on the wrist, maybe one on your chest if you're wearing an open collar. That's it. Let her come into your atmosphere, not the other way around. Also, and I can't believe I have to say this, make sure you actually smell clean underneath the cologne. Cologne is not a substitute for a shower. It's the final layer. If you're masking something, she'll know, and it's over. But if you've got the hygiene down and you're using scent strategically, you're occupying space in her senses even when you're not in the room. That's power.
Pointer 5. Show competence in something she doesn't expect. There's a specific kind of attraction that gets triggered when a guy is unexpectedly good at something. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff, being good at your job, being in shape, being charming. I'm talking about the curveball skills, like cooking, or fixing something with your hands, or knowing how to arrange a room, or being weirdly knowledgeable about wine, or art, or how to build a fire. Why does this work? Because it shatters her category for you. She thought she had you figured out, and now there's a new layer, and that novelty is inherently stimulating. Let me paint a picture. You're at her place. Something breaks, maybe a drawer, maybe a shelf. Most guys would shrug and say, yeah, that sucks. But you grab a screwdriver or a hammer, or you MacGyver something with what's around, and you just handle it. You're not making a big deal out of it. You're not asking for applause. You're just capable, calm, competent. She's watching, and in her mind, she's extrapolating. If he can fix that without freaking out, what else can he handle? It's a subtle reassessment of your value, happening in real time. Same thing with cooking. You're not trying to be a chef, but if you can make something that tastes good, that looks intentional, that required a little bit of skill and attention, she's going to notice, because it shows you care about details. It shows you can create something. It shows you're not dependent. Competence is quietly sexy. It doesn't announce itself. It just shows up and gets the job done. And in a world full of guys who talk a big game and deliver nothing, being the one who actually does something without needing credit for it sets you apart. Pointer 6. Build anticipation through timing. Here's a secret most guys never learn. The build-up is better than the payoff, always. When you give her everything too soon, whether that's affection, validation, physicality, or your full emotional availability, you eliminate the one thing that keeps desire alive, anticipation. Anticipation is the gap between wanting something and having it. And in that gap, the imagination runs wild. That's where she's thinking about you, wondering, fantasizing, filling in what she doesn't know yet. So how do you create anticipation? Timing. You don't answer her question right away. You pause, smile, and say, I'll tell you later. You don't finish the story. You stop right before the punchline and say, remind me to tell you the rest when we're alone. You don't give her the compliment she's clearly fishing for. You give her a look instead. A look that says you're thinking something, but you're keeping it to yourself. This works with plans too. Don't lay out the whole evening. Say, I've got something in mind. You'll see. Let her wonder. Let her be a little off balance.
I'm not saying be withholding or manipulative. I'm saying don't rob her of the experience of looking forward to something. That looking forward, that's half the turn on. Think about it. The night before a vacation is sometimes better than the vacation itself. The week before a first date can be more exciting than the date. Why? Because your brain is in anticipation mode, simulating possibilities, building emotion. You want her in that mode, so don't give her the whole picture. Give her pieces. Let her stay curious. Pointer 7. Demonstrate pre-selection without being obvious. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Women are more attracted to men that other women are attracted to. It's called pre-selection, and it's one of the most reliable attraction triggers that exists. You don't have to like it, but you do have to understand it. It's not about making her jealous. It's not about flirting with other women in front of her. It's subtler than that. It's about being the kind of guy who could have options, and she can sense it. How do you communicate that? Through social proof. You're respected in your friend group. People laugh at your jokes. The bartender knows your name. Women feel comfortable around you. You're not trying to impress anyone, and that's exactly why people are drawn in. She picks up on this. She watches how other people respond to you. If she sees that you're valued, that other people enjoy your company, that you're not desperate for attention, that registers as attractive. And here's the kicker. It also works in reverse. If you're overly focused on her, if she's the only person in the room you're paying attention to, if you're ignoring your friends or acting different around her, that communicates lower value. It says, I don't have other options, so I'm going all in on you. Stay engaged with your world. Be warm, social, present with the people around you. Let her see that you're not just performing for her. You're like this with everyone. That consistency is magnetic. Pointer 8. Know when to withdraw. This might be the most counterintuitive thing I'll say, but it's crucial. Sometimes the best way to turn her on is to pull back. Not in a petty, passive-aggressive way, but in a I have my own life and I'm comfortable in my own space way. Most guys think they need to keep pushing forward. More texts, more attention, more escalation, but that creates pressure, and pressure kills tension. Tension requires space. It requires a push-pull dynamic. If you're always pushing, always available, always chasing, there's no room for her to come toward you, and she needs that room. She needs to feel like she's choosing you, not just receiving you. So every now and then, take a step back. Go quiet for a day. Be busy. Be absorbed in something that has nothing to do with her. Let her notice your absence. It sounds manipulative, but it's not. It's just healthy boundaries. You're not orbiting her. You're living your life, and she's a part of it, not the center of it. When she reaches out and you're not immediately available, that creates a little spike of curiosity. What's he doing? Why hasn't he responded? And that curiosity keeps you on her mind. Then, when you do come back, you come back with intention. You're not needy, you're not apologizing, you're just back. And that contrast between absence and presence makes the presence more potent. So here's the real takeaway. Turning her on without touching her isn't about tricks or techniques. It's about understanding that attraction is psychological before it's physical. It's built in the space between your words, in the way you carry yourself, in what you withhold just as much as what you give. You don't need to be louder. You need to be sharper, more intentional, more attuned to the undercurrents that most people are blind to. Do that, and the touch, when it finally happens, won't be the beginning. It'll be the confirmation of something that was already burning. Thanks for watching. If this landed, hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.